Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams. Please accept my humble obeisances. Please accept my humble obeisances onto your lotus feet. Please also bless me so that I will be able to properly deliver the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, and I will be able to properly give the meaning of the Bhagavatam. So kindly, with all the devotees' blessings only, I know that I will be able to do that. So kindly bless me. Now I'm going to start this Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Canto 6, Chapter 7. Indra offends spiritual master. So the previous chapter ended with Sukadeva Goswami. So what, well, he was discussing the genealogy of Daksha's daughters, that is after Haryashvas and Shavalashvas, how they were liberated by Narada Muni. Then after that, what happens, as we know, that Daksha refuses to begot any male child, fearing Narada Muni, fearing Narada Muni, because that, he again thinks that if I get any male child, Narada Muni, even though he's been cursed, again he will come and do something, and so I don't want any. He will be actually fed up with this one. Then again, after the intervention of Brahmaji, he begots 60 daughters. From there, the genealogy of daughters were described, and towards the end was mentioned that the Devatas accepted Vishwarupa, who comes under the genealogy of Kashyapa. That is through one of the sons was Twasta and Rachana as their priest. That they asked him to accept him as the priest. So there, the Rachana actually was the daughter of the Daksha from the line of demonic. That is from the demonic line. So now we see how they accepted, in this chapter we will see how they accept Vishwarupa as their priest under the instruction of Brahmaji. Now at that point, what happens, Parikshit Maharaj will stop Sukadeva Goswami and will ask, what exactly the Devatas do to actually offend their guru, because he'll touch the topic and he'll leave it. Then at that time he'll ask, what did they do in order to what was this so much big offense? Like that he asks him, please describe in detail the offense the Devatas committed towards their Guru Brihaspati. So we know that pastimes are described because Parikshit Maharaj immediately will ask these questions. How, whenever there is any mention of death, or whenever there is any mention of curse, see, because he is being subjected to that, so he will get very curious about that. So immediately he will stop, and then he will put that question, and then he wants to know in detail about that. And then while discussing the genealogy here, why all these things we are talking about, Twasta, or not only that, all other things which we may, like Daksha's daughters, we may think that it is not relevant, but here in the Bhagavatam it is mentioned that the genealogy, this connects actually one pastime A to pastime B, and there are so many certain, there are many certain generations which will be discussed. And now we see how the whole genealogical line is discussed in the previous the daughters and other things, and how we comes to Twasta and Vishwarupa, then comes then next we see how the deliverance of Vitrasura, then Chitraketu Maharaj, and like this 10 chapters will go in this. Now we are coming to that chapter. The description of the characters of, I failed to, sorry to edit, I forgot to edit that this one. Okay, in this, see this one, this chapter is called as Indra offends his spiritual master Brihaspati. So from 1 to 10, Indra fails to respect Brihaspati. Because being proud of his material opulence, Indra failed to respect Brihaspati when he arrived in the royal assembly. Brihaspati left silently. Indra immediately realized his mistakes and regretted. From 11 to 17, Indra's lamentation. He will think that, I was very proud. Who could accept? I am very proud. Who could accept kingly opulences that makes one proud? Then that is this one he will tell. And from 13 to 14, To put faith in an ignorant leader who does not teach respect for others is like riding a stone boat. That we will discuss in detail now. And then from 15, I will bow down to Brihaspati without duplicity. And then 16 to 17, Indra, despite searching vigorously, could not find Brihaspati. From 18 to 20 chapters, the demons attacks the demigods and then approach Brahma. Then from 21 to 22, you have he says that you have been defeated by the weak demons. Brahmaji says you have been defeated by the weak demons because you have disrespected your guru. Then from 21 to 25, Brahma chastises and instructs the demigod. Then he says that accept Vishwarupa as the guru, he will fulfill your desire. Then from 27, 28, please fulfill our desires. We are on the level of your parents. A son's highest duty is to please his parents. This is what the demigods will request Vishwarupa. And then from 29, 30, respecting the guru, family members, guests, and all living entities. And then 31 to 33, please relieve our stresses. We accept you as our guru, though you are younger. This is what demigods again requests Vishwarupa. And then from 34 to 37, Vishwarupa replies to demigods. Then that's what he says, that I agree to all these things for my own benefit. Though priesthood is condemned profession, I cannot refuse your request. Then we have the last version, version, that is 38 to 40. Vishwarupa teaches Indra the Narayana Kavcha. Is it now okay? Or before was okay? I think this is okay, right?
Now it is okay. Now full screen you can see.
I'll take this. So we're going to the first verse. Sri Raja Uvacha Kasya Heto Parityakta Acharinatmanaha Suraha Etad Achakshva Bhagavan Chaishyanam Akramam Guru. So here Maharaja Parikshit inquired from Sukadeva Goswami, O great sage, why did the spiritual masters of the demigods, Brihaspati, reject the demigods who were his own disciples? What offense did the demigods commit against their spiritual master? Please describe to me this incident. So here Akashva means please describe, Akramam, Guru. What offense did Devatas perform? Is it so serious? Why did Brihaspati reject the Devatas who are his own disciples? So here we see that he says that please describe what offense did the Devatas perform. And then why did Brihaspati reject the Devatas who were their own disciples? So like that, Parikshit Maharaj will ask question to Sukadeva Goswami. Whenever that's what, this already we had discussed. So whenever there is this one comes, he will stop. We saw that in the example of even Ajamila also. So this is the question. Why did Brihaspati, there is a CBA question, the first in the first verse itself. Why did Brihaspati reject the demigods? So can anybody start like through this one serial number? Can all the devotees one by one can they start reading this slokas translation?
Hare Krishna. Shloka 2 to 8. Sukadeva Goswami said, O king, once upon a time, the king of heaven Indra, being extremely proud because of his great opulence of the three worlds, transgressed the law of Vedic etiquette. Seated in his throne, he was surrounded by the Marutas, Vasus, Rudras, Adityas, Rubus, Vishwadevas, Sadhyas, Ashwini Kumaras, Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandharvas, and by great saintly persons. Also surrounding him were the Vidyadharas, Apsaras, Kinnaras, Patagas, birds, and Uragas, snakes. All of them were offering Indra their respects and services, and the Apsaras and Gandharvas were dancing and singing with very sweet musical instruments. Over Indra's head was a white umbrella as effulgent as the full moon, fanned by yaptail, whisks, and served with all the paraphernalia of a great king. Indra was sitting with his wife, Sachidevi, who occupied half of the throne. When the great sage Brahaspati appeared in that assembly, Brahaspati, the best of the sages, was a spiritual master of Indra and the demigods, and was respected by the demigods and the demons alike. Nevertheless, although Indra saw his spiritual master before him, he did not rise from his own seat or offer a seat to his spiritual master. Nor did Indra offer him a respectful welcome. Indra did nothing to show him respect. Indra, okay, bro, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, Indra, after, he was sitting in the assembly with his wife, he was served with royalty, with all the royalty. We saw how in the translation. So, because of that, he was puffed up by this power, as he was being continuously glorified by Siddhas, Chanuras. And also when, there are a lot of Apsaras who were dancing, you can imagine with all those royalty, and then when he had so much of opulence, he was thinking he was thinking to be himself to be such a big person. So at that time, when Brihaspati entered the arena, Indra actually, even though he noticed his guru, he refused to stand up. Actually, this particular thing is mentioned here twice. That means he did not, he did not move at all. He did not stand up at all. So actually, at that time, Indra was momentarily, he was carried by wealth and power. Okay, can anybody read the 9th verse? Next, can.
Brahaspati knew everything that would happen in future. Seeing Indra's transgression of etiquette, he completely understood that Indra was puffed up by material opulence. Although able to curse Indra, he did not do so. Instead, he left assembly in silence and returned to his home.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So here is written that Vidwan, Sri Mada, Vikrayam, understanding Indra's bad conduct has arisen due to pride from his wealth. Angirasaha, the great sage Brihaspati, who knew the future, Ayayu Swagraham Tusnim, he quickly left the assembly and silently went to his home. He knew exactly why Indra acted in that way. Then next one, next verse.
Indra, the king of heaven, could immediately understand his mistake. Realizing he had disrespected his spiritual master, he condemned himself in the presence of all the members of the assembly. Devotees also commit mistakes, but they realize the mistake and truly and sincerely regret their mistakes and try to rectify it. On his own, he started to condemn himself in the presence of all in the assembly. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Devotees, actually, here it is written that immediately Indra could understand his mistake. That is the quality of a devotee. Devotees also commit mistakes, but they realize that mistake and truly and sincerely regret that mistake and try to rectify it. So Guru Helanam Atmanaha, realizing the disrespect he vented out to his spiritual master on his own, he started to condemn himself in presence of all in the assembly. There was no hypocrisy in his condemnation. Recovering from the intoxication of wealth, that is, he tried to came out of that state and started to lament. The 11th verse, only that's what I've highlighted that portion, only the translation. Next verse, over in the line, they can read this.
Alas, what a regrettable deed I have committed because of my lack of intelligence and my pride in my material opulences. I failed to show respect to my spiritual master when he entered this assembly, and thus I have insulted him.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So that's what he is telling again. I have insulted my guru because of my pride of wealth. What did I do? He is lamenting like that, He started to lament in that way. So next verse. Because here there is no purport in most of the initial slokas. So,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Verse 12. Although I am king of the demigods who are situated in the mode of goodness, I was proud of a little opulence and polluted by false ego. Under the circumstances, who in this world would accept such riches at the risk of falling down? Alas, I condemn my wealth and opulence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So Indra is talking about himself in the assembly. He said, I am supposed to be a mode of goodness, but being proud of this little richness, I became polluted by false ego. What learned person would desire to accept such riches at the risk of his own falling down? He says, why should I have this wealth, first of all, for doing all these things? Then he started regretting very intensely. So at that time, he says that why should I have this wealth? Because of that, I am showing this Asuri Bhava. Even though I'm supposed to be a demon, demigod, I'm acting like a demon. I'm having this demonic mentality. Actually, in Vritrasura also next, we will see how after Vritrasura starts speaking to Indra with so much of wisdom and clarity, Indra laments actually, who is demon and who is Devata? I'm not able to understand. He's speaking like a Devata and I don't have any of his qualification. So similarly, here Indra is saying that hell with my all this opulence. I am supposed to be a Devata and I am now behaving like a demon. The wealth of, then he talks about his own position. He says that the wealth of Indra has made me behave like this. He is condemning himself by taking the name of the post of Indra. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also prayed to the personality of Godhead that Najanam Nadanam Sundarim Kavitam va Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmanishwari Bhavatad Bhakti Rahetukitvi. Oh my Lord, I do not aspire for any material opulence, nor wealth, nor do I require any wealth, nor do I want any number of followers to accept me as their leader, nor do I want beautiful wife. I just want, I want any liberation. All I want is life after life to be faithful servant of your lordship. Sometimes even people at the level of Indra, due to intoxication of wealth, falls down. So Srila Prabhupada says that we are actually, at that time Prabhupada was in America. So he says while giving that this one, when making this purport, he says that now we are actually seeing that in America. The entire American nation has tried to advance in material opulence without striving to produce ideal human beings. The result is that Americans are now regretting the wholesale criminality of American society and are wondering how America has become so lawless and unmanageable. Actually, at that time, there was so much of violence and so much of, that was the time when most of the hippies used to be there. So there was no lawless, the law thing was very, very down. So that's what Prabhupada is telling. And also he takes that, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.31, Nate viduhu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. That means the person who are unenlightened do not know the aim of life, which is to return home back to Godhead. Therefore, they try to enjoy so-called material comforts and they become addicted to wine and women. The men produced in such a society are less than fourth class. They are the unwanted population known as Varna Shankara. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, an increase in Varna Shankara population creates a hellish society. This is the society in which Americans now find themselves. Then Prabhupada takes a consoling note by saying that fortunately, however, the Hare Krishna movement has come to America and many fortunate young men are giving serious attention to this movement, which is creating ideal men of first-class character. Men who completely refrain from eating meat, illicit sex, intoxication, gambling. And Prabhupada says, and if American people are serious about curbing this degraded criminal life of their nation, they must take to Krishna conscious movement and try to create the kind of human society advised in Bhagavad Gita. That is, Chatur Varnam Maya Shastam Gunakarma Vibhagashaha. They must divide their society into first-class men, second-class men, third-class men, and fourth-class men. Since they are now creating only men who are less than fourth class, Prabhupada is to call them as fifth class. So fourth-class men, how can they avoid the dangers of criminal society? This actually now is not only relevant. Now we can see that this is not only relevant in America only. Now to the current context, if you see, it applies to most of the places, and especially India. When we come here to India, we actually, whatever Prabhupada has said, every sentence and every word, we can see that it is there here also. Whatever he has told at that time for America, that same thing is happening in India also. So now, at that time, long ago, that is at that time, Indra regretted his disrespect to the spiritual master. So Srila Prabhupada says that it is also advised to the American people that they regret their mistake and they take the advice from the spiritual master, the representative of Krishna. That is, he's talking about himself and his disciples. If they do so, they'll be happy. That means if they take up to Krishna consciousness only, they'll be happy. They'll be happy, and their country will be an ideal nation to lead the entire world. So 13th verse, next one, can anyone read?
Verse, Prabhuji.
Yeah, 13th one. Here it is the number V13.
Oh, yeah. If a person says, one who is situated on the exalted throne of a king should not stand up to show respect to another king or a brahmana, it is to be understood that he does not know the superior religious principles.
Thank you, Mataji. So, Srila Prabhupada, the purport says that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura says that when a president or king is sitting on his throne, that means he does not need to show respect to everyone who comes within the assembly. But he must show, that is normal. This one is that, being a king, there is no need for him to show that respect. But he must show respect to superiors like his spiritual masters, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. There are many examples Prabhupada gives in the purport that how one should act. When that was actually, it was led with example by Lord Krishna himself. When Lord Krishna was sitting on the throne in Dwaraka, and when Narada entered his assembly, that even Lord Krishna immediately stood up to offer respectful obeisances to Narada. Narada knew that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Krishna also knew that Narada was a devotee, but Lord observed the religious etiquette. Because Narada was a brahmachari, brahmana, and a exalted devotee, the Krishna himself has, gave the respect. Also, Srila Prabhupada says a society concerned only with manufacturing new cars, new skyscrapers, that is only material things, year after year. And what they do after building it, even whether it is car or building, after some time they are going to break it. So he's telling that instead of doing all those things and breaking them again into making pieces and making again new ones, maybe they are technologically advanced, but it is not the human civilization. Human civilization is advanced only when people follow the Chaturvarnya system, the system of 4 orders of life. There must be an ideal first-class men to act as advisor, and then second-class men to act as administrators, third-class men to produce food and protect cows, and fourth-class men who obey the 3 higher classes of society. So Srila Prabhupada says that as per hierarchy, Kshatriya has to respect the Brahmana, Vaishya has to respect Kshatriya, and Brahmanas and Shudras has to respect the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. A society without Vedic laws and regulations will not be very helpful to humanity. As stated in the verse, Dharmyam te na param viduhu. Such a society does not know the aim of life and the highest principles of religion. Actually, sometimes we see how Narada actually know the dharma, but he knew the dharma, that when Krishna is there, he is not supposed to offer obeisances. But at that time, this is according to Niti Dharma. Niti Dharma says that any brahmachari or any brahmana comes, even the king is supposed to offer obeisances. But the same Dharma Shastra says that one should respect equally. That in the sense, if whether it is a brahmana or not, whether if a spiritual master comes, he has to respect. But Bhakti Shastra, it goes one level ahead. It says that not only one should offer obeisances, but one should give the seat to the devotee. So that's what we saw that. Also in one of the other lectures, we saw that, I heard that even though Narada offers, Krishna offers obeisance and Narada accepts it, but the moment he comes out of that place, immediately when he comes out, that is, when he comes out, immediately he will pay obeisances to Lord Krishna. That is, once he comes out of his original place, that is when not in the public, this one, that's what even the normal, we also, in case if there is any situation like that also, we should also come out immediately, and then we should also give the respect to the seniors. Then 14th verse, can anybody read this?
Leaders who have fallen into ignorance and who misled people by directing them to path of destruction, as described in the previous verse, are in effect boarding a stone boat, and so too are those who blindly follow them. A stone boat would be unable to float and would sink in the water with its passengers. Similarly, those who mislead people go to hell, and their followers go with them.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So Indra now is lamenting, oh, what a fool I have been. I have insulted my guru due to mada of my wealth. So we also know in Bhagavatam how Srimad Bhagavatam, Kunti Devi prayers, Janmaisharya Sitashri Bir Edamada Madapuman Naivara Tabidatum Vai Twamakinchana Gocharam. So Mada, I have become so proud of my wealth. I did not respect Bruhaspati. That's where the positive effects of devotees association come in. It is so important to have devotees association, because anytime we can get carried away by pride. Devotees, what they will do, they will detect the mistakes and make sure to communicate to us without hypocrisy, so that we rectify our mistakes. And then by doing so only, we can lead a happy life, as we are protected by devotees, just like the club of the Supreme Lord protects the devotees. So here we also know in our congregations and in our this one also in Dubai, how His Grace Ramakrishna Prabhu also, without any hypocrisy, whenever we commit any mistakes, at least with me, whenever we used to do something, immediately he used to come and tell, or even in the open, this one also used to rectify that mistakes. And also like how our Yatra leader Murali Vadana Prabhu also, in our programs also, if anybody makes any mistakes, there is no hypocrisy or diplomacy. He just immediately used to stand up, and sometimes it used to be a little harsh, but that is for our good. That's what it is supposed to be. That's what we are seeing in our in this verse also. So now here also he is criticizing his own ministers. Okay, can we read the 14th verse is finished, no? Correct. Okay, sorry, 14th verse. So here he is criticizing his own ministers. Look, I made a mistake. I got carried away. So you could have saved me. You are my well-wishers. I trusted you, but by trusting you, by trusting you, it is like floating on a. Murali Prabhu, did we read the 14th this one? Verse?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you. So I trusted you, but trusting you is like floating on the stone boat. What happens when you sit on a stone boat? Immediately it will sink. So he's telling like that. He says that I trusted you people, but you didn't help me. So you didn't tell me that what I was doing wrong. At that time you people are my advisors, but you didn't tell me. It is like, with you, association with you is just like being on the stone boat. So also now we see that many a time, actually we talked about how devotees will help. Like I just talked about how devotees will help other people so that we don't commit mistakes. But we have many times we have a situation where we will not have devotees to guide us. The devotees will not be there. So in that case, that is the decisions also, normally we will take it in a fraction of a second, and immediately we'll be taking this one. In that case, what should one do so that they will not commit mistake at all? Can we have some understanding or some light? Can somebody put some light on this topic? Can anybody answer this?
Prabhu, can you please repeat the question one more time?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. See, we know that when devotees are there, they will correct us, even if we are committing mistakes. What if we are in a situation where we do not have devotees around us, or even the situation like what happened in Indra also? It was a fraction of a second. He did not. There was no time for the advisors to give him the advice. So in that case, what should we do? By doing what we can be able to get out of this situation?
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, there are some incidents it has happened. In fact, when it happened to the Bhari Maharaj, immediately did not reject the Shukracharya's advice. And he continued it because he had faith on the Supreme Lord. In case of Bharat Maharaj, it's gone a different way actually. Since nobody was there to advise him, he had to take the birth as a deer. So at the same time, one should always constantly keep the association with devotees. Only the devotees can help the other devotees.
And also, yeah, good. Yeah, also, yeah, we must, remember these 10 offenses. Whenever we are chanting, we should ensure that we read the 10 offenses, remember them, and accordingly act. So this is also must.
Thank you, both of you. It's actually both are quite apt. So I was hearing to one lecture also. There also it says the same thing. What you said, Prabhuji. There is it's only the practice. If we are in practice, if we consistently practice that in our daily life, then it is like doing our homework. If we do our homework properly, we are going to do it, perform it properly. Like that, otherwise we'll be exposed. Same thing, if we actually practice all along and take care of the situations in our day-to-day life by practicing and being whatever we are in association with the devotees and remembering the same things, that is one thing which we will be able to come out of this problematic situation. So Srila Prabhupada in the purport says that Nirdeham Adyam Sulabam Sudurlabam Labam Shukalpam Guru Karna Dharam. That is, he says that conditioned souls have fallen into the ocean of nescience, but human body is like a very good boat. When directed by the spiritual master, who is acting like a captain, the boat can very easily cross the ocean. Also, furthermore, if the boat is helped by favorable wind, what happens? Which are like the instruction of Vedas and Vedic knowledge, what happens? We are even more going to proceed further. If one does not take advantage of all these facilities to cross the ocean of nescience, which is the bigger ocean, then we are going to surely be drowned. That is what it means that who boards a boat made up of stone is doomed. That's what we saw that in the purport. One must first give up the false leaders. That is also, they are also like the boats of the stone. The cream of this instruction appears in the form of Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita gives the direct instruction to how to fulfill the human life. That is, Lord Krishna says that Sarva Dharmam Parityajna Mamekam Saranam Vraja. That means he says that give up all other process of religion and simply surrender unto me. Unfortunately, although the American people are extremely eager to get out of this materialistic chaos, they are sometimes found to be patronize the maker of these stone boats. So who are the stone boats Prabhupada is referring to in America? He says people like how we take, by taking a shelter of a stone boat, we are going to definitely get drowned. Even in America also now at that time, Prabhupada says that he has made it like this one in many places. He has given in the lectures also about this. Who are the people who are like a stone boats he is referring to?
There are 4 types of people. Bhagavad Gita says Maya Prata Jnana, Naradama, Asurabha, Vashita. These are all the stone boats.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thanks. Anybody else? Okay. Actually, what in this one lecture I heard was these people are the people who used to come to America and give some Bhagavad Gita, with some offers, and they used to interpret Bhagavad Gita in their own way, in their whimsical way, with completely, Mayavada philosophy or something. They used to tell that, okay, come here, I will give you this, and some people used to make a lot of money, take money also. That was even more worse. That's what actually Prabhupada is meaning, that They are like a stone boats. They are the people who actually, because of them, people were so ignorant and they used to, pay money and then get cheated. After paying money, they used to get cheated in many cases. So that's what it is said. But Prabhupada finally says that this can be only stopped by taking up to Krishna consciousness. So at that time, he's telling to the American people, then only you will be saved, easily saved. Next. So here there is a topic that is the discussion topic is there in 14th verse. That is, if society is guided by political diplomacy, when one nation maneuvering against another, it will certainly sink like a stone boat. They must take the proper boat offered by Krishna in the form of Krishna conscious movement. So I have given some of the points. If anybody has extra points, they can also share. So can we proceed then? Yeah. Then 15th verse, can anybody read? That is here in the 15th verse, it says that I will bow down to Brihaspati without any duplicity. That is after regretting, Indra says that I will bow down to Brihaspati without any duplicity. Can the next person read the 15th verse?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Verse number 15, the King Indra said, therefore with great frankness and without duplicity, I shall now bow my head at the lotus feet of Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods. Because he is in the mode of goodness, he is fully aware of the knowledge, aware of all knowledge, and is the best of the Brahmanas. Now I shall touch his lotus feet and offer my obeisances unto him to try to satisfy him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So here, Indra, after coming into his senses, realized that he was not a very sincere disciple of his spiritual master, Brihaspati. Therefore, he decided that henceforth he would be nishta, that means not duplicitous, and then Shishna Tat Charanam Sprashan. He decided to touch his head to the feet of spiritual master. See, that is the kind of regret he is taking. He says, I want to touch my head to the feet of my spiritual master. So here in this purport, we see that how Prabhupada says that actually all these things happens, why? Because of familiarity. That means we say that familiarity breeds contempt. So that's why we should be very careful when dealing with the spiritual masters. We should associate with Guru only when we have some service or when we want to proceed, progress further. Only in that type of situation, we should have service with that is whenever we have something to do with Krishna consciousness activities, only we should associate with the Guru. Otherwise, we should also stay safe, because otherwise, what happens is, there is chances of committing mistake like this. So in this one also we say that how yasya prasadat bhagavad prasadat yasya prasadan nagadikatopi. By the mercy of spiritual master, one is benedicted by the mercy of Krishna. So without the grace of spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. A disciple should never be a hypocrite or unfaithful to its spiritual masters. That's what he is realizing now. That's what he is talking about also. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that in 11.17.27, the spiritual master is also called as Acharya. Acharya Mam Vijaniyan. The Supreme Personality of Godhead says that one should respect the spiritual master, accepting him as the Lord himself. Therefore, Krishna advises in Bhagavad Gita 4.34, Tadviddi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadekshanti Te Gnanam Naninas Tattva Darshinaha. That is, he says, just try to learn the truth by approaching the spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge onto you because he has seen the truth. One should fully surrender unto the spiritual master with the service, sevaya. One should approach him for further spiritual enlightenment. So here there is a question, that is a CBA question. Summarize Srila Prabhupada's purport to this text. So I have given this, but if anything extra is there, we can add, or we can go further probably. So verse 16, can anybody read?
Hare Krishna. When Indra, the king of demigods, thought in this way and repented in his own assembly, Brihaspati, the most powerful spiritual master, understood his mind. Thus he became invisible to Indra and left home, for Brihaspati was spiritually more powerful than King Indra.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. Here, what happens? Brihaspati understood Indra's mind. So he knew that Indra will change and then he will come for his forgiveness. But he wanted to, because these are all in the final, this one we'll come to know. This actually, Brahma himself would have easily sorted out the problem there itself. But this is with the purpose this is being done. That's why all this thing is going on. And they, Narada was, Indra was very much puffed up. He wanted to, taught a lesson. So all these things is done for that only. With that higher, this one only, this entire pastime is done. So here, the Brihaspati could understand that Narada will come and approach me. So what he will do, Brihaspati understood, and then Indra would, and then what happens? He immediately leaves the house also. He doesn't go to the home. He immediately leaves so that he vanishes. That he doesn't come in contact with anybody. Nobody will know where he has gone. So can we read the 17th verse?
Although Indra searched vigorously with the assistance of the other demigods, he could not find Brihaspati. Then Indra thought, alas, my spiritual master has become dissatisfied with me, and now I have no means of achieving good fortune. Although Indra was surrounded by demigods, he could not find peace of mind. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. So Indra actually used his intelligence. He used his way to find his guru. But Brihaspati was even more intelligent. So he went in such a way that he could not even trace him. So Indra, finally, what happens? He will give up. Because initially he thinks that I've been surrounded with all other demigods. So we will go and find him. But even though in presence of so many demigods, Indra will not be able to find them. So now what happens? Indra will lose his peace, even though he's surrounded by. He says that that happens even in our here in this case. He'll be surrounded by so many demigods. But since even though he has so many his followers, he doesn't get his peace. So same thing happens with us also. Even though we may have all facilities and we have so many people, if there is no internal condition, if our internal condition is not clear, which will give us peace, then so many other, whatever paraphernalia, other people we have, it doesn't give us any solace. In that way, we will not have any peace at heart. So 18th verse, next in the line, can anybody read this? The next one can read this.
Yes, verse 18.
18th, Prabhu. Verse
Yeah,
18.
Prabhu, but 18th in the translation is different than what you have put. It's 18th, it said, hearing the pitiable conditions of King Indra, but you have written demons attack demigod. Is it
No,
correct?
that is a heading, Prabhu. Heading, that's all.
Okay, anyway, I will read from
That is the heading only.
database.
Yeah,
The
you can
same,
start.
Prabhu,
Prabhu.
it's just that he has just given the meaning, heading.
Okay, I got it, Mother. Very well. So, hearing of the pitiable conditions of King Indra, the demons, following the instructions of the Guru, Shukracharya, equipped themselves with weapons and declared war against the demigods.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So here, as soon as demons heard that Indra was vulnerable, they understood his weakness. Then immediately they attacked him. They themselves were not that powerful. That even we can see in the future, this one also. But they took shelter of Shukracharya, their guru, and followed his instructions seriously. Equipping themselves with the weapons, they declared war against demigods. So the 19th verse, anybody read?
The demigods' heads, thighs, and arms and the other parts of their bodies were injured by the sharp arrows of the demons. The demigods, headed by Indra, saw no other course than to immediately approach Lord Brahma with bowed heads for shelter and proper instruction.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is actually, if you see the entire, it keeps on repeating in many places. As and when devatas are in problem, they immediately approach Brahma or Supreme Lord, because that's what we see. They may commit mistakes, but being that this one, the devotees, they regret and they immediately come to senses. and they they approach the superiors. Like that, now also they go and approach Brahma for help. They know that they have been attacked. They are not able to do anything, and then they go for the Brahma for the help. So 20th verse, can anybody read? Okay, I'll read myself. So when the most powerful Lord Brahma saw the demigods coming towards him, their bodies gravely injured by the arrows of demons, he pacified them by his great causeless mercy and spoke as follows. So now we will see in the next, from the next verse onwards, how Brahmaji will chastise the demigods. So can we read the 21st verse? The next person who is in the series.
Lord Brahma said, O best of demigods, unfortunately, because of madness resulting from your material opulence, you failed to receive Brahaspati properly when he came to your assembly. Because he is aware of Supreme Brahman and fully in control of his senses, he is the best of the Brahmanas. Therefore, it is very astonishing that you have acted imprudently towards him.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So here, Lord Brahma recognized the Brahminical qualities of Brahaspati, who was the spiritual masters of demigods. Because he knows that Brahmaji knows that the supreme, that is the Brahaspati was a person who knew the supreme Brahman. The Lord Brahma then chastised the demigods for not properly respecting such a Brahmana, who was also their guru. So Srila Prabhupada says that Lord Brahma wanted to impress upon demigods that one's guru should not be disrespected under any circumstances. So when Brahaspati entered the assembly of demigods, they and their king Indra took him for granted. Since he came every day, they thought there is no need to show respect. As it is said, as we discussed before also, familiarity breeds. Like that, Krishna also says in the 10th canto that when once a person was sitting in the banks of Yamuna and wanted to take bath. So, but even though the bank of Yamuna was there, he did not go there. He wanted to take bath in some other river. So this is what it is, which may not, he wanted to take bath in some other river because it is so familiar. Every day he's seeing Yamuna, so he didn't want to take bath in Yamuna, which is so bona fide, and he wanted to take bath in some other river which is not at all bona fide. So similarly, even mother, when she is cooking for a son some food every day, they don't know the value. They want to have food in the restaurants. But the same mother, if she takes one week off, or if she goes somewhere outside, they know the value of that one. And then they will say that where is my home food? Where is my mother's food? They don't want any more restaurant food. Like that, here, they don't know, they didn't knew the value of Brahaspati, and now they are finding the value of Brahaspati. Now they are missing their guru very much. Also, we see in how in the song of, also we also sing every day, the Narottama Dasa Thakura say how he says that Chakludan Dile Jai Janme Janme Prabhu Sai. The guru gives spiritual insight to the disciple, and therefore the guru should be considered his master life after life. Under no circumstances should guru be disrespected. But the demigods, being puffed up by their material portion, disrespected their guru. So 22nd verse, can we read this?
Because of your misbehavior toward Brahaspati, you have been defeated by the demons. My dear demigods, since the demons were weak, having been defeated by you several times, how else could you, who were so advanced in opulence, be defeated by them?
Thank you. See here, in the purport, we see that how Devadas always defeated Asuras. Most of the time they defeated Asuras. But now they are defeated. He says that, he is asking the same questions. The Brahma is asking the question here. The reason is very clearly stated here. But that we also know, as we saw this one, because they offended the spiritual master. Because once they offend the spiritual master, they becomes degraded. Then what happens when they get degraded? Their strength becomes, their strength weakens, and the opposite party, like the demons, their strength increases. Because of their, here they didn't respect. There, even though normal, we'll see also in the next verses, in normal situation, the demons will not be respecting their spiritual master so much. But in this case, when this happens, they respect so much and they start getting the favorable things, strength, their strength gets increased as they serve the spiritual, as they serve their spiritual masters. So also we see that has also stated in Shastras, when one disrespects a respectable superior, one loses his longevity also. The result of his pious activities also will be diminished, and in this way, one will be degraded more. So here we have a discussion topics in 22nd verse. As stated in Shastras, when one disrespects a respectable superior, one loses his longevity and the result of his pious activity, and in this way, one is degraded. I have covered this point. If anybody wants to add this, anything, they can add. Okay, we can go to the next verse, 23rd verse. Can anybody read the translation?
Hare Krishna. O Indra, your enemies, the demons, are extremely weak because of their disrespect towards Shukracharya. But since they have now worshipped Shukracharya with great devotion, they have again become powerful. By their devotion to Shukracharya, they have increased their strength so much that now they are even able to easily seize my abode from me.
Thank you, Mataji. So here we understand that one should not doubt his superior, that is doubting Thomas. In such a situation, he is very unhealthy. One should have faith in Guru, integrity, and transcendental realization, and his spiritual stature also. At the same time, we should not be a blind follower also. One has to keep himself somewhere in the middle. Because even in ISKCON, one of the lectures, they give an example where, one of the Guru had many disciples, 3,000 disciples, and because he didn't follow, then ultimately all the disciples also left. So everybody, there was a downfall. But because what happened at that time was they were blindly following. There was no, they were not taking any feedbacks. But in the, here today, we are in such a situation that we can get information from so many sources. Internet is so many sources we can get the information. We can also talk to many people around the world, the devotees itself. We can ask the questions. So that's why there's a lot of information available now. So one has to go to the, if we also find this type of things happening, or we have some sort of a doubt, because doubt is like a poison, it will kill us. So anytime we have a doubt on any of the things, what it is, what in the lecture, it says that, in that situation, we have to go to the superior and very politely say, Prabhuji, this is what I heard. I know it is not true, but what do you think about this? I had heard people talking about it. Then we should not keep the doubt, so that we should, once we take this type of things and very humbly ask our superiors, they will be able to give that response, and also we will also be saved. So also Srila Prabhupada in the purport says that Larda wanted to point out to the demigods that by the strength of the Guru, one can become the most powerful within the world, and by displeasing the Guru, one can lose everything. Also, this is confirmed in our daily same song which Vishwanath Chakravarti Sakura sings, that is Yasya Prasadat Bhagavad Prasado Yasya Prasada Nagadik Topi. That is by the mercy, again it is coming the same thing what we read before. By the mercy of spiritual master, one get the benediction of the mercy of Krishna, and without the grace of spiritual master, one cannot advance spiritually. Although demons were insignificant in comparison to Lord Brahma, because of the strength of the Guru, they became so powerful that they could even seize Brahma. That's what Brahma says. They can even now conquer me itself. What about what you are talking about your thing? Forget about your kingdom. They can even conquer my place also, Brahmaloka also. They have become so powerful now. So that's why we therefore also pray to the spiritual master, Mukham Karoti Vakalam, Pangum Langayate Tegiram Yat Krupatu Maham Vande Shigrun Tina Dharanam. That is in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 17.8. That is, by the mercy of Guru, even a dumb man can become the greatest orator, and even a layman can cross the mountains. So here also we know that in many cases, the people will not be a big orator when initially, but after, as soon as they come into the consciousness or in touch with this one, they will become very good orator. Can we give some examples like this?
We can take up Joe Maharaj. Immediately Lord touches his forehead with his counsel. He would recite so many slokas.
Thanks. No, but also devotees, when how they will become a great orator by by association. We have examples. Anybody give examples? Okay. See, even we can take the example of Srila Prabhupada itself. Many of the European devotees, they didn't know one word of sloka, one word of Sanskrit, nothing. They were not even able to speak properly. But just in few years, they were able to recite the slokas without seeing, by-hearted. And they used to make such a big, and we know how many people have come into now, whatever we are seeing, the growth of ISKCON is because of the Srila Prabhupada followers. And Srila Prabhupada, the association, the way in which he taught them, because of their association, they were able to give such a beautiful lecture. They are such a good orators. That itself is a live example what we have. So then it says that sometimes demons become powerful, but that powerfulness is not permanent. So it only boils down to how much one is aligned to dharma. Now demigods were not aligned to dharma, so that's why they were able to take over. How much they are aligned to Krishna consciousness. Now, even in our cases also, it is like how we are also behaving ourselves, how much we are aligned to Krishna consciousness, how much submissive we are, and how we worship our our superiors. This will give our growth, our spiritual progress. So the 24th verse. Next, can anybody read?
Hare Krishna.
Because of determination to follow the instructions of Acharya, his disciples, the demons, are now unconcerned about the demigods. In fact, kings or others who have determined faith in the mercy of Brahmanas, cows, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and who always worship these three are always strong in their position.
Thank you, Mataji. So here the question is, who is in a strong position? That means one who worships Vipra, Govinda, and Gau. That means they should respect a Brahmana, Gau, Govinda, and cow. So again, these three are interrelated. Namo Brahmana Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya, Jagatitaya, Krishnaya, Govindaya, Namo Namaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Go Brahmana Hitaya. That means he is always very kind to cows and Brahmanas. So when he is kind to cows and Brahmanas, we as his disciples, as his disciples or as his followers, what is this one? Therefore, we should also, when we are worshipping Govinda, we should also satisfy him by worshipping the Brahmanas and the cows. At the present moment, Prabhupada is lamenting all over the world. Nobody is protecting these two. That is, nobody is interested in this Go Brahmana Hitaya. That is, nobody is taking care of the Brahmanas and the cows. At the present moment, all over the world, except, example, even our present governments they don't have any respects for Brahmanas and cows. They openly talk about, the governments, they open butchery houses, abattoirs, and then there they kill the cows. What more abominable things can we see? So here the government encouraged that one. So if you do not have that respect to Brahmanas and cows and Govinda, there will be a complete chaotic conditions all over the world. And what is the result of this? We will be easily defeated. We see that's why problems are there everywhere in the world. One problem after another, one problem after another. Ukraine problem, America is then a problem. Europe is everywhere there is a problem because of this. That's what Prabhupada says. So from next verse, that is from 25th, we will see how Brahmaji will start giving solution. Actually, first what happens, he chastises and then he analyzes the situation And then now he will start giving the solutions. Before that, there is a CBA question. Explain the cause of the strength of the demons. So if anything extra is there, anybody can add it. And also there is a discussion topic. At the present moment, governments have no respect for Brahmanas, Gaus and Govinda, and subsequently they are chaotic conditions all over the world. Anybody wants to add something? Okay. Mamta Mataji, I think you wanted to read that one. Now you can read, Mataji. 25th verse.
No, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. O demigods, I instruct you to approach Vishwarupa, the son of Tvashta, and accept him as your guru. He is a pure and very powerful Brahmana undergoing austerity and penances. Pleased by your worship, he will fulfill your desires, provided that you tolerate his being inclined to side with the demons. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So he's already hinting them. He's already warning them. Be very careful because he is from the other side. But his mother is from the demonic side. So he may have the soft corners towards them. Like that, he already advised them. So here, Lord advised the demigods that to accept. At the same time, he asked them to accept the Tvashta, that is son of Tvashta, that is Vishwarupa, as their spiritual master. Then, even though he was a little bit, inclined towards the benefit of Asuras, because that soft corner was always there. Now, Brahmaji is giving instructions to Devatas to accept Vishwarupa as their guru. That means here we see that how he says that your guru left. Now you have to accept someone basically as your guru. Here, more than a guru, it is a priest. Actually, even our Brihaspati was a priest. So here, for performing all the sacrifices, there was no priest. So here he is telling that you accept Vishwarupa as your guru. Also with the warning that we saw. Vishwarupa, he says that he is related to demon and he will naturally be inclined towards that one. Now, the next verse, we will see the conversation between Devatas and the Vishwarupa. 26th verse, can anybody read?
Srila Sukadev Goswami continued, thus advised by Lord Brahma and relieved of their anxiety, all the demigods went to the sage Vishwarupa, the son of Tvashta, my dear king. They embraced him and spoke as follows.
You can read 27 also.
Sure, thank you. The demigod said, beloved Vishwarupa, may there be all good fortune for you. We, the demigods, have come to your ashrama as your guests. Please try to fulfill our desires according to the time, since we are on the level of your parents. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So Vishwarupa is like the next generation. That's why they say that we are like your parents and then you are like your son. So now in 28th verse, can anybody read?
O Brahmana, the highest duty of a son, even though he has sons of his own, is to serve his parents. And what to speak of a son who is a brahmachari?
Oh, this is a very thought-provoking question. So here, son means he should be responsible towards his parents. And we are at, they say that we are at, the demigods say that we are at the level of your parents. So indirectly hinting that you should serve us. So here it is said that also they say that what to speak of a brahmachari, he has more responsibility to serve his, then they say that what to speak of a brahmachari. Can anybody say, can anybody answer, say what actually, actually brahmachari means he is supposed to renounce everything. But at the same time here they are telling that you are a brahmachari, that means you have got a more responsibility to serve your parents. So how does we interpret this, or what is the meaning in this? Can anybody say?
Because he is not married, So that's why he's the only one son. So naturally got more responsibility to take care of his parents.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. Any other answers?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The person who's having a son, he might say that I'm now father, grandson will serve. Right. So, but as a brahmachari, its responsibility is to serve as parents, as guru.
Thank you, Prabhu. Actually, yes, I heard in that lecture also, one, what you said, no, Prabhu, exactly that they said the same thing. And normally we say that brahmacharis do not take care, they come out. In one of the cases, I think in Chowpatty temple, there was the father had two sons, one was a devotee and another was working in some place. But when the father was serious, they called up both the people. But devotee, what he did, immediately he went there, rushed there, and he went to the home, and then he was able to, take him to the hospital, and everything was sorted out, and the father recovered. But other son came after 2 days because he was working some other place, remote place. For him to come there, it took a lot of time. So that is many instances we may have that one also. But here, what it means is, brahmachari means he is renounced order of life. He is like how we see in Kapila's case also, that being this one brahmachari, it becomes very easy for him to preach Krishna consciousness because he knows the Krishna consciousness, he knows the philosophy of the spiritual philosophy. So that's why it is here it mentioned that because you are a brahmachari, you are even more responsible. So that's what it all means. That means we should connect. That is, by connecting to Krishna consciousness, they are in a very easily, brahmacharis are in a very easy position to make them people take up Krishna consciousness. So, but at the same time, if the parents are already into Krishna consciousness and they give us this one, we should be grateful to them. So Krishna, the main duty of son here in the purport is mentioned that is to deliver these parents from hell, putra, which means that one who deliver from the hell, pu or naraka. If you are in Krishna consciousness, you not only give them Krishna consciousness, but also help them to go back. That's what the crux of this one is. If a person can give the Krishna consciousness to the parents, that they are not only helping them to develop Krishna consciousness, but also they will get that that once they leave the body, they will go back home. That is the eternal home. That is the Krishna. That is go back home back to Godhead. So Krishna consciousness means the brahmachari or anyone, it is the responsibility of to take care of the parents, either spiritually or even materially. Sometimes the parents may not be so inclined towards spiritual things. Even slowly incorporating the spiritual things, at least asking them to chant and other things, and even taking care of materially is what is expected of a son. It is not that just he runs away with the girl and then he will send, if they do like that, they'll be sent to a hell where they will eat their own flesh. We have already read that one. So next one, can we read? That is 29 and 30.
Hare Krishna. In your slide, it's verse 20.
1 minute, Prabhu. Sorry, there is some problem in charging. That's why I'm saying, Prabhu. Yeah, you can.
The Acharya, spiritual master who teaches all the Vedic knowledge and gives initiation by offering the sacred thread, is the personification of all Vedas. Similarly, a father personifies Lord Brahma, a brother King Indra, a mother planet Earth, and a sister Mercy. A guest personifies religious principles, an invited guest personifies the demigod Agni, and all living entities personify Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So here we see that the two verses are highlighting how to respect a guru, brother, father, mother, sister, guest, and so on. And also it gives so much of importance, that is also highlights how we should respect the entire living entities. That is, in general, we should have to respect. So Srila Prabhupada also talks about how of respecting all living entities. According to the moral instructions in the purport he gives of Chanakya Pandita, Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu. One should observe all living one should observe that all living entities to be on the same level as oneself. This means that no one should be neglected as inferior. So basically, here he is referring to the lower animals, like lower inferior creatures like the animals. So we don't have any right to kill that animals. So, but here, unfortunately, people, eat the flesh of the animals just for the pleasure of their senses. So this means that no one should be neglected as inferior, because Paramatma, as we all know, is seated in everyone's heart, and everyone should be respected, and everyone should be respected as a temple of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Suppose once we think that a person, that animal or something, it actually is a place of is like a temple for the place of the Lord, then it becomes very difficult. That's what this verse is telling. So also next, now we will see in the next verse. Now Vishwarupa will say enough. He will say that, okay, you are given a lot of moral instructions now. Please tell me the reason why you have come, because they are not told till now what they want, because they are only giving the instructions. So 31st verse, can anybody read this?
Hare Krishna. Dear son, we have been defeated by our enemies, and therefore we are very much aggrieved. Please mercifully fulfill our desires by relieving our distress through the strength of your austerities. Please fulfill our prayers. Hare Krishna.
Also, Hare Krishna. Next 32 also, please read, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, please. Since you are completely aware of the Supreme Brahman, you are a perfect Brahmana, and therefore you are the spiritual master of all orders of life. We accept you as our spiritual master and director, so that by the power of your austerity, we may easily defeat the enemies who have conquered us. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So in 31st verse, he says that we are defeated by our enemies. He's telling to, the demigods are telling to Vishwarupa. So they are telling him, please help us to relieve our distress. Why? Because he would have performed so much of austerity. That's why they go, Brahma instructs the demigods to go to the Vishwarupa. But the priest, as a priest, how they evaluate, or how they evaluate the priest is by the austerities he has done. The more the austerities he has done, the more powerful he will be. That's what he will say in the future verses. I'll be doing all these things for you, but I am going to lose my power. Actually, that's what actually happens. I have heard in one of my, in Bangalore itself, one of the priests, when we went to do he went to his home and he was doing some japas, and then he came out. After that, when we asked him he said that, see, whatever karyas I did today will actually have effect on this one. So that's why, to counter that, we do that one. So even though they have they perform austerities, they get the power when they do this type of, when they do this type of religious, that is activities, this type of yagnas and other things, this one also will be diminished. So that's why these people are telling that by your strength, that means you have a lot of strength, please help us to cross this one. So 32 verse also, Srila Prabhupada says that one must approach a particular type of guru to execute a particular type of duty. That's what actually he is meaning, this one only for Vishwarupa. Why they come? Only for this particular type of activity, only for this particular, because he will be very strong in Vedic recitations and other things. So for this particular thing, they come there. That's what actually also Brahmaji also advise them only for this. He will not say that accept him as a spiritual master. So this is what it is said, that the Prabhupada says that one should approach a type of guru to execute a particular type of duty. Therefore, although Vishwarupa was inferior to the demigods, that means he was like a son, he was so young. So the demigods accepted him as their guru to conquer the demons. That means here again, it is mentioned that only to defeat the demons, they accepted Vishwarupa as their guru, because he will have that Narayana Kavacha. That is the power he has. That is, by doing all the austerities, he would have acquired this Narayana Kavacha, which is like a shield that will be explained in the next chapter. But by which he will conquer the demons. So now here, Vishwarupa may argue, why are you accepting me as a guru? I am younger than you. You just said you are at the level of my parents, and I am at a level of your son. Then how can I accept you as my guru? He may ask that type of question. For that, next verse will answer that. The 33rd verse, can anybody read?
The demigod continued, Do not fear criticism for being younger than us. Such etiquette does not apply in regard to Vedic mantras, except in relation to Vedic mantras. Seniority is determined by age, not one may offer respectful obeisances even to the younger person who is advanced in the chanting Vedic mantras. Therefore, although he is junior in relationship to us, he may become our priest without hesitation.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Because they say, they say that you are expert in chanting the Vedic mantras, which we discussed. That is the reason for us to accept you as our guru. It is said that Vruddhatvam Vayasa Veena. That means one may be senior without being advanced in age. Example, we have many examples that one. Can anybody give some example where the person is very young, but all the seniors, they accept him as a guru? Many examples we have. Exactly. Perfect. And then any other things?
Sutta Goswami also, right?
Yeah, correct. Sutta Goswami also. Correct. Because Saunika will be such a old person, and then he will take the. So Sukadeva Goswami was only 6. Prabhu?
Sorry, there's some contrast also there. In Vidura wanted to reason from Uddhava. Uddhava did not give. He gave the Maitreya because he's very senior to him.
But he wanted to do, but he will be rejected. Okay, that we will see now. So now, 16. Sukadeva Goswami was only 16 years of age. But assembly, they were all stalwarts. Everybody was there, But they accepted him as a guru, and they wanted him to do the Bhagavata, this Saptaha to Parikshit Maharaj. Also, we have Devahuti. Devahuti accepted Kapila Deva as as a guru, but even though he was just a son, actually he was a son, but still she accepted him as a guru. Like as Muralibhadana Prabhu said, Vidura also was about to accept Uddhava as a spiritual master, but Uddhava rejected it. So it is not the old one gains seniority. It is not that one. Vishwarupa was, of course, junior in relationship to the demigods, but maybe because he may be their nephew also, but demigods wanted to accept him as their priest. And therefore, he would, normally what happens, because they are so seniors and they are like their fathers, which he has been consistent in telling, and he has so much of respect for them, he will not allow them to offer obeisances. So they are telling, oh, don't see all those things. They say, they're telling in advance. They say that, they visualize that, or they think that being that younger, this one, he may not accept our obeisances. So they say that don't have that type of any feelings toward that. So the demigods also explained that this should not be the cause of your hesitations. Don't get hesitate. When we offer this one, you should accept it. Then they say that you become our guru because you are advanced in Vedic knowledge. Similarly, Chanakya Pandita also in the Purport Prabhupada says that advises Nichat api uttamam gnanam. One may accept education from even from the lower society order. The Brahmana members, are the most elevated varna, like the people who are coming from the higher level, even like Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, or Vaishyas also, they can accept knowledge from anyone, even from Sudra, if he is knowledgeable. So Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also approved this when he expressed this opinion before Ramananda Raya. That is Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 8.128. Kiba Vipra Kiba Nasi Sudra Kine Naya E Krishna Tattva Vitta Se Guru Haya. It doesn't matter whether one is a Brahmana, Shudra, Grihastha, or Sannyasi. They are all material designations. A spiritually advanced person has nothing to do with such designations. Therefore, if one is advanced in the science of Krishna consciousness, regardless of his position in human society, he becomes the spiritual master. So we can go to the 34th verse. Can anybody read this 34th verse?
Sukadeva Goswami continued, when all the demigods requested the great Vishwarupa to be their priest, Vishwarupa, who was advanced in austerities, was very pleased. He replied to them as follows.
You can read the 35th verse also.
Okay. Sri Vishwarupa said, O demigods, although the acceptance of priesthood is described as causing the loss of previously acquired Brahminical power, how can someone like me refuse to accept your personal request? You are all exalted commanders of the entire universe. I am your disciple and must take lessons from you. Therefore, I cannot refuse you. I must agree for my own benefit.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So here it says that Vishwarupa says, I cannot refuse your request. That's what we had discussed before also, that Brahminical host, the priesthood will cause loss of Brahminical power. The profession, what is the profession of a qualified Brahmana has been given in the purport. The profession of a qualified Brahmanas are Patana, Pathana, Yajana, Yajana, Dana and Pratigraha. The words Yajana and Yajana means that Brahmana becomes the priest of the populace for the sake of their elevation. That's why they take that risk also. In the old priest, they used to voluntarily many places and they used to do it, all those things. Even though they knew that they'll be losing their power, but they used to do. Why? Because just for the sake of the people, general population, so that they get benefit. So one who accepts the post of a spiritual master neutralizes the sinful reactions of Yajamana. What happens in another lecture once I heard that's why many senior people, they don't allow the disciples or some other people to come and take the blessings from them, because when they say that when they do that blessing, that Papa, some part of the Papa will come there and their punya will go there. Many people will not do that one. That's what he is telling here. The priest, even though at the cost of their losing their Brahminical powers, they accept it so that the sinful reaction of Yajamana, whatever is there, even though they get that sins, at least that person will be benefited by that one. So that so on the one who behalf on is that on their behalf they perform the yajna, so that the Yajamana will be benefited. Thus, the result of the pious acts previously performed by the priest or spiritual master, even though it gets diminished, he does not care for that cost and he comes to the help of the people. Therefore, priesthood is not accepted by learned Brahmanas. Nevertheless, the greatly learned Brahmana Vishwarupa became the priest of the demigods because of the profound respect for the Devatas. Can we read the 36th verse?
Shall I read, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, please.
O exalted governors of the various planets, the true Brahmana, who has no material possessions, maintains himself by the profession of accepting Silonchana. In other words, he picks up grains left in the field of an ground in the wholesale marketplace. By this means, householder Brahmanas who actually abide by the principles of austerity and penance maintain themselves as their families and perform all necessary pious activities. A Brahmana who desires to achieve happiness by gaining wealth through professional priesthood must certainly have a very low mind. How shall I accept such priesthood? Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So in this purport, we see how a first-class Brahmana do not accept any rewards from his disciples or Yajamanas. Practicing austerities and penances, he instead goes to agriculture field and collects food grains, which is left by the agriculturist to be, and that is the one who will collect it. And then through that, he will maintain his families. Actually, true Brahmana accept profession of Silonchana. That means they only collect the grains which is not sellable, which cannot be sold, even in the marketplace also, which will be left out, and people, they don't take it. That type of things, they take it. And then through that, they will survive. Accepting priest is of low order. Accepting priest is of low order, but still, I will accept this offer for you. That's what Vishwarupa is telling. True Brahmana performs, true Brahmana means he only performs austerities and penances. And what he does, he goes to the agriculture field, collects whatever is left out by the agriculturists, and then he uses it for himself. They do not try to imitate Prabhuji, can I go to another place and then log on to my this one, Prabhuji? I think this it is not charging here. Murli Prabhu?
Prabhuji?
1 minute, I'll take this computer and put it into another place, Prabhu. Here it is not charging.
Yeah, you can do it, Prabhu.
1 minute. Sorry for the disturbance. So pure devotee, that pure Brahmana, he doesn't try to imitate the Kshatriya or Vaishyas and to show off his opulence. He always tried to lead a very austere life. He doesn't want to show off his opulence. So pure Brahmana also accept life very austerity. So whatever comes to his comes on his own, that only he will accept it. He doesn't try to do anything more in order to acquire any material gain, properties or material gain. So whenever whatever that is, the pure Brahmana also will not demand anything from anyone. But nowadays, Prabhupada says that how we see the people, they exploit the disciples. They take money. That not only take money, they actually force them to pay money, saying that we will do this and that and all those things. And even the people who perform the priest, this one also, they first only they fix an amount, that this is this much amount for this much amount for this. So actually, the pure Brahmana will be Brahmana will not ask anything, because he will always be under the mercy of the Supreme Lord. That's what he wants. He will completely depend on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. That's how he maintains his family also. So the 37th verse, can anybody read?
Hare Krishna. All of you are my superiors. Therefore, although accepting priesthood is sometimes reproachable, I cannot refuse even a small request from you. I agree to be your priest. I shall fulfill your request by dedicating my life and possessions.
Oh, thank you so much, Prabhuji. So finally, he agrees now. Then in 38th verse, Sri Badaranaya Ruvacha Tebhyayevam Pratishritya Vishwarupo Mahatapaha Paurahityam Vritas Chakre Paramena Samadhina. So translation that Sukadeva Goswami continued, O king, after making this promise to the demigods, the exalted Vishwarupa, surrounded by demigods, performed the necessary priestly activities with great enthusiasm and attention. So Vishwarupa accepts, in this, we see how Vishwarupa accepts the priesthood for the sake of the demigods and not for himself. So there is an element of selflessness or sacrifice on the part of Vishwarupa. That means he will lose his person, but still, even though he's losing in power, he wants to help the demigods. That is the kind of sacrifice he's doing it. The word samadhina is very important. Samadhi means what? The complete absorption with the undiverted mind. So Vishwarupa, who was a most learned Brahmana, not only accepted the request of the demigods, but took their request seriously and performed the activities of priesthood with an undiverted mind. In other words, he accepted the priesthood not for material gain, but to the profit of demigods. The words Purohita indicates that the priest is well-wisher of the family. Another meaning of word Puraha is that a priest's first duty is to see that his disciples benefit spiritually, and not spiritually and materially by all means. Then only he is satisfied. Till then he is not satisfied. A priest should never be interested in performing Vedic rituals only for personal benefit or to make something out of it. That is to make money out of it. So 39th verse, can anybody read?
The opulence of the demons, who are generally known as the enemies of the demigods, was protected by the talents and tactics of Shukracharya, but Vishwarupa was most powerful, composed a protective prayers known as Narayana Kavacha. With this intelligent mantra, he took away opulence of the demons and gave it to the Mahendra, the king of heaven.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Basically, demons were protected by Shukracharya. That we saw that, and now we'll see in detail. But Vishwarupa was more powerful because he had the Narayana Kavacha. What is the Narayana Kavacha will be again discussed in the next chapter. The distinction between the demigods, Devatas, and the Asuras, the Devas and Asuras, is that the demigods are always devotees of the Lord, Vishnu, whereas the demons are devotees of so many demigods like Lord Shiva, Kali, Goddess Kali, then Brahma. In the days of yore, that is the long ago, there was enmity between the Devas and Asuras, and the same spirit still now continues. But for the devotees of the Lord, Shiva and Goddess Durga are always, for the devotees of the Lord, the devotees of the other Devatas, they are always envious of Vaishnavas, who are the devotees of the Lord. Here we see that Vishwarupa gave the demigods a protective covering which was saturated with, which was given with the Vishnu mantra. Sometimes the Vishnu mantra is called as Vishnu Jvara and Shiva mantra is called as Shiva Jvara. So we find in the Shastra that sometimes the Shiva Jvara and Vishnu Jvara are employed in the fights between the demons and the demigods. So when they used to fight between themselves, but we saw that they used to use these weapons. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead always awards his benediction to the devotees. The Lord himself confirms that in the Bhagavad Gita. So here, Kaunteya Prajidanati Name Bhakta Pranashyati. That means, O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. So he gives the essence. Supreme Personality of Godhead will never forego his devotees. So he'll always protect them, even though they may employ so many other things, or they may take the help of other devatas or something like that. But so ultimately, Supreme Lord will protect them. So 40th verse, the last verse, and we read this.
Vishwarupa, who was most liberal, spoke to the king Indra, that is Sahasraksha, the secret hymn that protected Indra and conquered the military power of the demons.
Thank you, Mataji. So here, this is the last. The demigods actually are, why the devatas, why the Brahma and the Supreme Lord always want demigod to be in the under the hymn of the Swarga. That is why they want them to be the rulers, because demigods are more capable of administration than the demons. They are actually meant for it. They know how to administer. But when the same thing is given to demons, they don't do it. We see that in the case of our Bali Maharaj. After that, many people, they will not be happy with that time. So that way, that is the reason the Supreme Lord always, Brahma, they always want the demigods, who are basically the devotees of the Lord, to take care of the administration, because they are very expert in that one. So that's that is the reason why he wants them to be in the all the universal affairs. He wants them to take care of that. So this ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of 6th canto 7th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Indra offends his spiritual master Brahaspati. Om Tat Sat. Thank you for giving me the opportunity and patiently listening to me. I know I would have committed a lot of mistakes, so please correct me wherever I have gone wrong, and also please let me know if anything additional has to be added. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Ravi Rajan Prabhuji. It's very nicely you explained all the various aspects of the today's topic. Very important chapter actually, especially from the Guru's Guru point of view, especially for the disciples. How to respect the Guru and should not offend the Guru. And it's a nice, so many points. Thanks a lot, and it's a very nice description about the each and every point you covered actually. And also, there's no question to be asked today. But I can add 1 or 2 points actually. One point is that there are some incidents that when disciples they become more they'll start learning sloka very seriously, and they then slowly they get puffed up. They think sometimes they think maybe I know more slokas than my guru. Like that, the opinion they get it. So this type of attitude is very, very dangerous actually. The total submission of the guru should never forget. Always one should be in the mood of surrender to the guru actually, because guru is a highly realized person. Just by learning slokas, will not become realized. Should be always one should be highly realized person. That's why he should serve the guru always as a representative of the God. So that is a very important point one should remember. And secondly, he said, then I wanted to give example in the Mukam Gaurati Vachalam. In fact, I was recalling one of the past times. I recalled it a bit later. That's why I wanted to tell right now. So there is a one Maharaj called Bhakti Vaibhav Maharaj. If I'm not mistaken, same person only. So he was a Russian actually, and he was beginning when he joined the Krishna consciousness, he got such a faith and Prabhupada. And somehow he wrote a letter to Srila Prabhupada, what is the instruction for me? So Srila Prabhupada replied back, read my books. And he was, in fact, being a Russian, he did not know how to read the English actually. To somebody else, he wrote the letter. And he did not understand. Maybe he thought, or maybe Prabhupada did not understand my question properly. He again sent me one more letter to Srila Prabhupada. Actually, I don't know English, but give me some advice how to go progress in Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada again replied back again, read my books. Very small reply. And then he got really perplexed. What exactly the meaning there? Then he realized I should read Srila Prabhupada's book. But the thing is that he didn't have Russian books that time. And what he did, he took on the English and Russian dictionary and started teaching each and every word, including that was, is, something like that. Basic things. He started learning it and then started reading the books. And slowly read so much books. Srila Prabhupada become perfect in English language. Later on, he started preaching in English. And not only that, he went to Oxford University. There also gave a lecture in English. That is the power of the Mukam Guru. Nice example, Srila Prabhupada has given. And one more example, that Guru's instructions, is always right. And there's an when person landed on the moon, 1960s, some disciples they told Srila Prabhupada same thing. Not 1960s, I think somewhere after that time. That time, Prabhupada said it is not possible. And many disciples agree as it is. But there is one more technical person. He said, no, they really landed, they showed the picture and everything, and it's it's possible like that. No, he did not agree the Srila Prabhupada's words. Srila Prabhupada, no. As per Bhagavatam, it is not possible. And ultimately, he left the movement itself. This exactly happens. When you don't listen to the Guru's instruction, ultimately, destruction of your own life. So these are some incidents I could recall when you understand the Guru's instruction so important. And should never neglect the Guru's instructions. And also the contempt breeds, what is that? Familiar breeds contempt. So this also sometimes happens. When Srila Prabhupada also sometimes, he has chastised his own disciples. One incident, they told the disciples, go and take the bath. And Srila Prabhupada went inside the water. And some of the disciples, they started playing and they started splashing water to Srila Prabhupada. Because of this, suddenly, because of familiarity, they started splashing water to Srila Prabhupada. Then it has become, immediately, Srila Prabhupada stopped them. Don't do like that. So these are some of the incidents I could recall in the process, in understanding the whole chapter. Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna. And thank you. You're very fortunate. In fact, today is the very auspicious day of Ekadashi in Purushottam month. And you got a chance to give the class on Srimad Bhagavatam. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I think last 3 classes of mine, I had it on Ekadashi only. But it's just a coincidence. The last 2, before also, whatever my presentation was there, it was on this only. But yes, Prabhuji, what you said is correct. If if a devotee or some other like new people, if they get puffed up, actually it is given in our this one also, it becomes very unhealthy. That will be the cause of their fall down also. That's why the devotees play a very important role. They try to correct them.
You're gonna close the presentation book so they can see everybody.
What, Prabhu? Stop share?
Yeah, stop the presentation.
Yes.
Yeah, only one suggestion is, actually you listen a lot of lectures. Then what you have to do, you have to note down the person's name.
No, I knew that, but I didn't want to tell that, Prabhu. Yeah. The lecture was given. Yeah, I heard from Balram Shakti Prabhu and Gaurang Darshan Prabhu. But I didn't want to tell because I thought it will take time. That's fine.
No, sometimes by telling their name, you'll get some sukriti. Great devotees. That good devotee, by repeating their name itself is enough. They're all spiritual names, highly elevated devotees. You should tell their names, from where you referred. It will help both for the listeners also, it will help, because he can also refer the same person. Or it will help you also by telling their names.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Anybody has any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Actually, Prabhuji has done a very nice class. Actually, it's so much of learning there, and how we have to treat our guru, Siksha Guru, and all those things. So one example is that the person who's sitting on the bank of Yamuna, he didn't want to take bath in Yamuna, but he wanted to take somewhere else. So that is a very nice example he has given. Prabhuji, one more example also you have given, similar example. What is that? I could not remember. See, our memory is
1 minute,
so
Prabhu. I'll take that one. Which verse is that, Prabhu?
I forgot the verse, but Indra was lamenting
1 minute, Prabhu.
that I did not respect the Guru.
Or shall I share it on your WhatsApp?
Yeah, Prabhuji, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So wonderful. Thank you.
Remember one more similar story is when the one person was sleeping in the Jagannath Puri temple, he never went inside the temple at all. There's some stories there. He never went inside the temple. Anybody having any other thoughts in today's connection? But Prabhuji, I just wanted to think, when you do the karma kind activities, you told me the priest has to do some, he loses his power. What exactly the concept?
Prabhuji, what they tell is, this is live only. In fact, I asked a personal person also when we do that one. They say whenever they do some shraddha, whatever they do, this type of activities, no, Prabhuji, that has got some negative effects on them. That means there is a negative effect which they take it for themselves. They take it from the Yajamana. His sins, they will take it on themselves. Whenever they do the normal yajna also, what they do, we say that, no, Prabhuji, you are going to get this benefit, that whatever it is. But that person is not entitled to get that benefit because he has committed some sins. So that sins they take so that he becomes purified, they give that effect, this one to them. When they take the sin, they automatically their power diminishes. That's what, that one of the person who did, this one in our house, he said that's why evening time we go there and do all this complete japa. We do that, and so that whatever this one we have got, it gets nullified.
Yeah, I remember one of these incidents. The one place I went for one marriage function. So there is a temple itself, and they do cook the food with onion garlic because of the marriage function. Then I went and asked the person, Brahmins, is it before eating? I normally go and check it. And he said that Brahmin is a Brahmin. He said, yeah, what to do? These people are insisting me to do all this cooking. Actually, I did not want to cook onion garlic in front of the temple surroundings. And he said, what do you do? Before that, I go home, I put some money in the hundi and also do some japa, he said. So get rid of that effect. Because he himself knows, cooking onion garlic not good in the surrounding of the temple. But because of the profession, he could not do it because people demand that one.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, if nobody having any doubts, and please attend the section again. Don't miss the section, and also encourage others also, those who miss the sections. And the very, very important section is going on. It's Bhagavatam, it's especially on this month is very good. And tomorrow our Rajeshwar Gaurav Prabhu is going to tell Narayana Kavacha Shotra. So Rajeshwar Prabhu is going to all empower all the devotees tomorrow with all the Narayana Kavacha. And don't miss it tomorrow's class also. Tomorrow's also a very auspicious day also. You'll be listening in Ekadashi because Dwadashi starts around after that. So thank you once again, everybody, for joining today's section. And Vancha Kalparuvecha, Kripal Sindhi Bevacha, Tatitana Pavani Gavashni Namo Hare Krishna. Let's all pray for Sachi Mataji. She got some health problem issues. And Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna. Thanks everybody. Shingatarachi Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ravilochan Prabhu ki jai.
Prabhupada